Hello, my dear students, good morning. Students, having completed the first three chapters in the second textbook snapshots, let's start reading the next one. This is the chapter number 4th. As you can see here, the name of the chapter is Albert Einstein at School. Albert Einstein at School. This is really highly meaningful, impressive, educative, inspirational, motivational, chapter. This is the chapter number 4th. Albert Einstein at School is written by Patrick Pringle. Patrick Pringle. So before we start reading the chapter, before we start reading this the story, which is written about the life and activities of Albert Einstein, a noted, a well-known, world famous physicist, since Newton. And this the story revolves all around him, right from the beginning till the end, of the chapter. So I think I would like to give you, I think we should get here some details regarding Albert Einstein, which we will find here in this chapter. Beta Albert Einstein was really highly talented student in the days of his schooling hours, and he was really a different kind of child right from the very early stage of his life. When he started getting education at some school, he did not like the schooling education as well as the system, because he stood against the regimentation, strict discipline, and he did not like that the students must be forced to cram something. I mean to say, Albert Einstein was totally against the conventional and the traditional form of cramming. He always valued the creativity of thoughts, creation of thoughts. He never gave any importance to the to cramming the facts. He always thought that a person should always generate some new ideas in his mind. He was really so much innovative, not creative but innovative also. So the story also tells us how he faced his schooling days, and what kinds of challenges he had to see during his schooling education. So all these things also revolve it that all these things also reveal it that Albert Einstein was really a man of high principles, and he never lost his confidence, and he never bent himself down. He never compromised his principles while arguing with his teachers, while arguing with his head teacher, and many more other persons also. So let's start reading the chapter. Since the chapter is a bit lengthy, that's why it may take some time. First of all, we would like to read the outline as given here in the beginning of the chapter. Albert Einstein, who was born in the year of 1879 and died in the year of 1955, is regarded as the greatest physicist since Newton. Albert Einstein has really got his popularity on the basis of his high skills and unmatchable, exceptional qualities, and he is always regarded as the greatest physicist since Newton. Since since the time of Newton, he has got his name and fame in the field of physics, and he has been really great scientist also. In the following extract from the young Einstein, the well-known biographer Patrick Pringle described the circumstances which led to Albert Einstein's expulsion. Expulsion stands for exclusion. exclusion. Exclusion means send somebody out, okay, throw somebody away from a place almost permanently from a German school. In the following extract from the young Einstein, the story which we are going to read at this moment has been taken from a book, namely The Young Einstein Beta. That's why the author has used here the word extract. The word extract stands for here just like a passage. Okay. The well-known biographer Patrick Pringle. Patrick Pringle, who is also a well-known biographer, described the circumstances. He described the circumstances in this short extract taken from his book, The Young Einstein, okay, which led to Albert Einstein's expulsion from a German school. Owing means because of hota hai beta, owing to some circumstances, unavoidable circumstances, okay, Albert Einstein had to quit his school, had to get expulsion certificate from his head teacher, okay, from a German school. When he got education, when he used to get education, okay, in the higher class. So the chapter describes here how, this is the chapter describes here how Albert Einstein found himself so much compelled to leave the school, okay, in adverse conditions. In what year Einstein asked the history teacher did the Prussians defeat the French at Waterloo? In what year Einstein asked the history teacher? On some day, the history teacher asked Albert Einstein, since Albert Einstein, okay, was getting education at some high school, okay, and it was his duty to answer the question as raised by some teacher there in the class. So one day his history teacher asked him, in what year the Prussians had defeated. Now I would like to convert the statement into past perfect tense, since it is written in simple past tense. And as you know, as per rule, simple past tense changes into past perfect tense. Okay, the history teacher asked Albert Einstein in what year the Prussians had defeated the French at Waterloo. Okay, in the battlefield of Waterloo. The history teacher wanted to know the exact year from Albert Einstein. I don't know, sir. Albert Einstein, who did not believe in such kinds of facts, who did not believe in such kind of theory and methodology of getting education, replied his history teacher, quite frankly saying that he did not know the answer. He did not know the year. Okay, in which the Prussians had defeated the French at Waterloo. Why don't you know? Being a little agitated, the history teacher asked Albert Einstein why he did not know the year. You have been told it often enough. He also told Albert Einstein that he had already been told about the year in which the Prussians had defeated the French at Waterloo several times before that day. The history teacher told Albert Einstein that he had already, now I would like to give the explanation in active form. He had already told him about the year, okay, in which the Prussians had defeated the French at Waterloo. Thereafter, he told him that he did not know the year. I must have forgotten. Again, Albert Einstein told his teacher that he should consider that he must have forgotten that year. He must have forgotten the year. That's why he should not scold him for that point. Did you ever try to learn? Asked Mr. Brown. Oh, The name of the history teacher was Mr. Brown. That Mr. Brown, history teacher, asked Albert Einstein, okay, if he had ever tried to learn the year, if he had ever tried to learn the exact year, the name of the year. No, sir, Albert replied with his usual unthinking honesty. Since Albert Einstein never told a lie, that's why he replied Mr. Brown with full honesty, saying it that, replying him in negative and saying it that he did not try to learn the name of the year on his part. Why not? Mr. Brown gave him a series of questions. So in those all questions he also asked why he had not ever tried to learn the exact year. I can't see any point in learning dates. One can always look them up in a book. Look up, it's a phrasal verb beta. Look up means find out. Find out. I can't see any point in learning dates. Albert Einstein told his teacher, Mr. Brown, quite frankly, saying that find he did not find any positive point in learning the dates. He could get nothing learning the dates. One can always look them up in a book. One could easily look them up in a book, in a textbook. One could easily find out the name of the year, the date, and any other such relevant facts regarding any battle or any other historic facts in a book. Mr. Brown was speechless for a few moments. When the history teacher got such kind of reply, such kind of response from Albert Einstein, he could not speak any word and he remained speechless for a few moments. You amaze me, Einstein, he said at last. Finally, the history teacher told Albert Einstein that he had really surprised him. He had never expected it from his side that he would like to give him such kind of response. Don't you realize that one can always look most things up in books? Then the history teacher asked Albert Einstein whether he did not realize it that a person could find out so many things in a textbook or in a hell book. That applies to all the facts you learn at school. He meant to say that all the things were written in books. That's why what was the use of attending the school for him? He should not attend the school if he did not believe in the facts. Yes, sir. Albert Einstein again replied in positive, saying it that he was totally agreed, and he was totally in favor of his statement. That's why he did not believe in the facts. Then I suppose you don't see any point in learning facts. Mr. Brown told him that it meant that he did not want to get education at school. Frankly, sir, I don't, said Albert. Albert Einstein told him that he also did not like to learn the facts while getting education at school. He did not like learning the facts because it was a part of his cramming. Then you don't believe in education at all? Okay. Mr. Brown also gave him a very burning statement and told him that it meant and he should accept it that he did not believe in education at all. It meant that he wanted to say that he was not interested in getting education at school. Oh yes sir, I do. Oh, Albert Einstein told him that he did not like such kind of education that was totally based on cramming. I don't think learning facts is education. Albert Einstein told his teacher that he did not think that learning facts was the true concept of education. No, was the true objective of education. No. If a person learned the facts, he could never get success in his life. He wanted to say it. It means he wanted to get some other kind of theory on his part. That's why he told his teacher that he did not like such kind of wrong tradition of learning the facts and he was totally against it better. So beta, in the first lecture we have completed the chapter up to here, and the next lecture we will proceed to the next part right from the page number 26. Thank you very much. This is the starting point.